the lineups. Let me bring you those quickly before the action does get underway. Hoffmann starts in goal for the defending champions Bayern Munich 2, with Stanisic, Feldhahn, Lawrence and Vita from right to left. The back four, Thiago Dantas and Zeiser, the two defensive midfielders, with Timo Kern just in front of them with a little bit more freedom. And then a front three of Dayaku on the left, Arp in the middle, and Kuhn out on the right. As for Ingolstadt, Buntic in goal, Gauss at left back, Schröck and Antonic in central defence, with Heinlott on the right back position. Kotzke in front of the back four with Röhl and Stendera, the two central midfielders, and a front three of Elva on the left, Kutschke leading the line in the middle, and Bilbia out on the right. Well, Arp picking up a yellow card 15 seconds into the game. Just the leading with that left elbow, and well, making that decision rather easy for the referee. Might not see it himself. A shake of the head would suggest that is the case, but I think if he was able to see the replay, he didn't really give the referee much choice there. So an early booking for the Bayern number 9. Long ball forward over the top there. It's 2-0 though. Here's Dayaku. Remy Vita playing the ball back to Feldhahn. Remy Vita joining in October from Troyes, the French side, for a fee of €1.5 million. Young player that Bayern Munich have very high hopes for. To have a long history of fantastic left backs. They're hoping that young Remy Vita can be the next one to fill those big shoes. The likes of Alaba and company have left for him to fill. Important that there isn't too much pressure on the young man though. He's already got a goal, so not a bad start to his Bayern career so far. Now the home side looking to try and build that first real attack of the game. Good early possession for Bayern. Now Kuhn. And there it is! What a way to start the game. And it's the top goal scorer this season who adds another one to his tally. Timo Kern with a fantastic header arriving late. What a start to the game. Stanisic with the superb delivery into the box, was just begging for someone to get on the end of it, and there was Timo Kern. He was more than happy to oblige. Superb delivery, perfect height and pace on the ball. And Timo Kern, it's in between the defenders and heads the ball home from close range to give Bayern 2 an early 1-0 lead with 3 minutes gone. Goal number 5 of the season for Timo Kern, a veteran in this very young side, leading by example. Feldhahn picks up the free kick just outside his own penalty area. Stanisic takes it quickly. Here's Hoffmann. Now Lawrence. To Dayaku. He's well under pressure. Didn't have a lot of space to work with there. And Stanisic. Well, Bayern hoping to bounce back as quickly as possible after that 3-0 away defeat in Lübeck. It was an afternoon that just simply didn't go their way, really weren't at the races and paid the price. Credit to Lübeck though, they were fantastic on the day as well, has to be said. But Holger Seitz will be extremely pleased with the way this young side has answered the critics already. Still a lot of football to be played, of course. And And Ingolstadt, not the kind of side who are just going to sit back and let Bayern take control of this game. At least you wouldn't think so. Good thing about conceding early is you have plenty of time to set the record straight, which is exactly what Thomas Oral's team will try and do. Ingolstadt coming into this off the back of a slender 1-0 home win over Magdeburg. Plenty of changes for Thomas Oral, a total of 4 since that 1-0 win. Ingolstadt definitely trying to reply straight away here. They don't seem too shaken by conceding the early goal, not yet anyway, as Thomas Oral watches on from the sidelines eagerly. Both he and his players will be well aware of the amount of goals this young Bayern 2 team have conceded already this season. And even after scoring an early goal, it's not something that they're going to forget too quickly. And if Ingolstadt can get one, they'll feel they might be able to get a few and turn things around here. There's Gauss. Decent build-up play this from Ingolstadt. Chance now. In comes the cross. It's not a bad one either. Important interception there from young Jamie Lawrence. Elva has a look up, tries to whip one across the face of goal, but Lawrence positioned well, able to get in the way. Stendera to take this corner from the far side as Ingolstadt look for a pathway back into this game. Will it come from a dead ball situation? Not that time. Free kick given to Bayern as well. Kotzke just a little too aggressive in the box there. Came into the first side back in 2019. It's been a regular since. Does cover a lot of ground, Kotzke, and is that link between attack and defence in that central midfield. More often than not, pulling the strings for Ingolstadt. Here's Elva again, able to cut it back for a second time. Was definitely a little bit more dangerous that time round. Still, no one able to latch onto it. We have a third chance to put one across. He does, and Lawrence again with the interception and the clearance. And Elva seeing a lot of the ball already. And struggling to cope with the wide man. Rita struggling to pick him up on a number of occasions already. That's definitely something they're going to have to address. Shouts for handball there. No whistle from the referee. Plenty of the Ingolstadt players certainly felt they had a case there. Ingolstadt have always struggled against Bayern 2 in the 3rd division. Total of 5 games between the two before today, and just one going Ingolstadt's way, the other 4 belonging to Bayern 2. And that way at the moment, with the way the score is stands out at the moment, should I say. But Ingolstadt definitely making a game of this, and it's not going to be easy for Bayern too to secure all 3 points if it continues in the same manner. Ingolstadt certainly pushing for an equalizer. Well, it didn't look like a handball really. Coming back from an offside position there. That's why the free kick was given. And the third division table. Dayaku with a really good chance there. Had an acute angle to work with, so it was never going to be easy to find the target. Fantastic ball over the top. And a slightly better first touch might have set himself up for a slightly better finish as well. But going back to the league table, it's a table that doesn't necessarily tell you the whole story or paint the full picture just yet, with COVID-19 situation, meaning that a number of games here and there haven't been able to be played, so there are a number of teams that have a handful of games in hand compared to others, and Bayern Munich definitely one of those sides going into this match day with just 10 games played, while Ingolstadt have played 2 more, so the fact that Bayern are currently mid-table could change once everyone is back level in terms of matches played. But games like these could be extremely important to making sure they don't remain mid-table but start to climb up the league back to where they will feel they belong. So Gauss waiting to take this corner. Delivery is long and deep. Eventually, Bayern do get the ball clear. Come straight back over the top though. And a decent effort there on the half volley for Röhl, but his shot blocked. Visitors with the throw. Gauss with the long throw towards the near post. Certainly does manage to generate real distance and power with those throws. Gauss, the left back, definitely one of the more experienced players in the Ingolstadt side as well. Not too happy with the ball being played at that height, meaning he had to take it with his head, making it a little bit more difficult to keep it in play. And there's Bayern. Hoffmann quick to apologise, of course. Gauss with another one of those long throws. Stanisic with the clearance. Pushing the header down from up. Can't find Dantas. Continue his run. Keep closing down. at the moment, although Ingolstadt have done very well to play their way back into the game, maybe not goal-wise, but certainly letting Bayern know that it's not going to be a walk in the park, this. They're struggling with that final ball and perhaps just rushing things a little. Could do with holding on to the ball a little bit more, just bringing a little bit more calmness and composure into everything. And that way you can play the game at their own pace and pick and choose when they go on the attack. Can understand the eagerness to get back on level terms, but as already mentioned, they do have time on their side. They can afford to just take it at their own pace, really. Not a bad ball by Feldhahn. Again, Dayaku not far away from bringing down the ball nicely. "16 minutes gone." Bayern Munich goal, the first time this season they've been able to find the back of the net in the opening 15 minutes of a game. Something I'm sure Holger Seitz will be very pleased about. It's definitely an area where he feels they can do better. They haven't always started very well, and sometimes it can definitely cost you in the third division. Elva can't find a way past Vita. Another corner for the visitors. Gonna have to start making them count. Surely, it's like pushing the back of Arp there. Central defender Schreck leading his case to the referee, but I don't think we're going to have too many complaints about the decision. Quite clearly a foul on the Bayern striker. Schreck to Antonic. Stendera. Kotska. And Antonic again. And flag goes up straight away. Reux just starting his run a little too early there. Once again, that eagerness to get back into the game, perhaps slightly their own worst enemy at the moment in Ingolstadt. Ticking a lot of boxes in terms of energy levels and pace at which they're trying to play. The intention is there for all to see. It's lacking that composure a little at the moment. Hoffmann getting there ahead of Kuchka. Feldhahn. Long ball forwards. Up with the header on. Not too happy that Dayaku didn't continue the overlap. Stendera having to drop very deep to get on the ball. That's good pressure by Bayern. Very nearly coming off for them there. very nearly a wonderful ball right through the middle. That one carved the Bayern defence into Elva. He has plenty of pace in those legs of his. Could have done with it just a little bit more precision there. He's asking a lot of him. Elva tries to go it alone and then gives away the free kick, having just lost control of the ball there. Just lunging in slightly. And studs raised as well, which is why he's getting just a warning from the referee. There's that heavy touch which saw the ball just run away. And just a little too eager to win it back straight away. Vita with the throw, gets the ball back and straight away he's put under pressure. There's Schröck. Antonic back to Schröck again. And although Ingolstadt are enjoying the lion's share of possession since conceding that goal, they haven't been able to do too much with it so far. Bayern 2 doing a good job of protecting that one-goal cushion. Elva. Heinlotz. The early cross. And the ball brought back for a foul by Timo Kern, who's the player currently lying on the ground though. The goal scorer. Looks like he's going to need some medical attention here. Not quite sure what happened. Perhaps fell a little awkwardly or something of the sort. Hopefully nothing too serious here for Timo Kern. He's not looking too comfortable here. Timo Kern showing a yellow card for his troubles as well. He's not moving very well, is he? He certainly looks a bit shaken. It looks like it's a head injury. Not exactly looking too steady on his feet, so we'll have to wait and see if Timo Kern is going to be able to continue. With the way he's moving at the moment, it doesn't look like it. Still not quite sure how that happened as the free kick is taken. Stendera unable to really test Hoffmann in goal. And Bayern currently playing with 10 men here as Timo Kern is still being seen to off the field of play. Stanisic unable to get the clearance there before the ball ran out of play, and quick to apologise to his teammates. As we have another look at that Stendera free kick. There's not enough pace and power on it, and Hoffmann able to watch that one all the way and make the catch. .5.5 minutes gone. It's Bayern 2 and an early Timo Kern goal. That currently separates the two sides. Ingolstadt since then have been able to steady the ship somewhat. Haven't really created any clear-cut chances of their own though. Elva, decent header down. Kuchka will let it run across his body. Back to Elva again. Another Bayern Munich player down at the moment. It looks like Lawrence who's in a bit of trouble now. Well, it's definitely unintentional. Elva with flailing arms there as he went up to meet the ball with his head, just catching Lawrence in the process. Timo Kern back out on the pitch, but still not looking all too rosy, really. To be honest, I'm not sure he should be out there. Shake of the head there to his teammate Dayaku would suggest he might be coming off relatively soon. He's saying he's dizzy here. We might have a change coming in the not so distant future, as a number of players have been told to go warm up now as well. And even Feldhahn is captain, I think, saying, listen, if you're feeling dizzy, it's best to get off the field. Not just for his own well-being, but for the well-being of the team and the game in general as well. Looks like he's going to try and continue though. Oh, interesting clearance there from Hoffmann. Getting away with that. That could have gone all sorts of wrong. Kuhn brought down. That'll be a free kick. Bayern still down to 10 men, because although Kern's back out on the pitch, Lawrence is now being seen to after a smack to the nose. Stanisic, Feldhahn with nowhere to go. And the Bayern throw. Decent layoff there by Kuchka, out wide to Elva. Not offside here, Kuhl. I think he was caught in between two minds of whether or not to test the keeper or try and put a cross in. In the end, it was neither really. Hoffmann able to get out and collect. Too close to the Bayern keeper that time. Gauss. There's Röhl. A wonderful bit of vision there. And then sadly the heavy touch from Heinloth. Or should I say Heinloth, as it's pronounced in German. Vita. And the pressure from Elva here. Röhl. Tried to set up Stendera for the shots. Bayern try the quick counter-attack, but that final ball just lacking yet again. Lawrence waiting to return. Lawrence still not able to come on. The delivery there, and Elva puts it in. Absolutely superb cross. It was just begging for someone to get the slightest of touches on it. And no surprise that it's Elva who scored Ingolstadt's first goal of the game and their equalizer. He's been the player who's looked the most dangerous. His movement's been absolutely fantastic. He's been able to find space time and time again. So far it's all been out wide. This time it's at the near post. No one picking up his run. An acrobatic header and an acrobatic celebration to match. And Ingolstadt back on level terms, and you'd have to say deservedly so. Kaligia Elva with his second goal of the season. Well, it looks like Timo Kern will be coming off here. No surprises, really. Certainly didn't look like he was doing too well. And he'll be upset that his game's come to an early end after such a fantastic start. Getting Bayern off to a great start with that opening goal. Superb header to give them the lead, but that will be all she wrote for Timo Kern. Coming on to replace him will be the young Scot. As part of the Leverkusen youth setup, Scott, before joining Bayern 2. Vita with the ball back to Hoffmann. Scott with his first touch on the ball and struggles to stay on his feet. Bayern back to full strength at least now. It's Ingolstadt who are looking to finish the half on top. They have their equalizer, but it looks like they're going for a second goal before the break if they can. All over the top, Elva. Battling it out with Vita yet again. It's been a good battle between those two players out on that far side already. And that challenge from Antonucci, the Austrian. Just catching up from behind. It was a clever little flick past the defender by Up. And Antonucci will pick up yellow for that challenge. Nameless pass that from Lawrence. Stendera returns the favour though. There's Kuhn. Looking to link up with Dantas. Doesn't quite come off, but Bayern able to hold on to possession. Now Vita. Misunderstanding between him and Dayaku. Upper body strength there from Elva. That's the advantage he has over the young Remy Vita. Tantas quite clearly getting his shirt pulled there by Kotska. Kotska a little fortunate not to go into the referee's book. Three players with a yellow so far already. One of them has left the field of play in the form of Timo Kärno. The other two going to Jan Vita Arp, just 20 seconds in, and now Niko Antonic into the referee's book as well. There's Feldhahn. Decent ball. Dantas pulls it back inside. Scott! Well, the substitute puts it over from a close range. Got himself into a wonderful position. That is what he brings to the table. His movement off the ball is one of his main strengths as an attacking central midfielder. He's able to set himself up well. Good first touch. Just perhaps a little too eager to smash the ball into next week there. A little bit more finesse and he might have been able to just help it past the Ingolstadt keeper Buntic. Show of pace there by Remy Vita. No nonsense clearance from Feldhahn yet again. Schreck has time to carry the ball forward. Stendera. Caught late by Stanisic. And Stanisic now will be the next player to go into the book. And he knew as well straight away. Usually tell when the player looks over to the referee. Usually knows he's about to get into trouble. Not the worst of the tackles that have seen yellows so far, but we have seen them given for less as well. Steven Greif having a bit of a chat with Holger Seitz there, who was voicing his opinion a little too loudly for Mr. Greif's liking, it would seem. With the header on, Kuchka trying to get himself in front of Lawrence. And Lawrence doing extremely well. Able to run the ball clear. Lovely turn by Scott. Goes past one, can't go past two though. Need to apologise to Dayaku for not playing the ball his way a little quicker. Just over 5 minutes to go. We'll probably have another 2 or 3 added on to that with the stoppages after the injuries to both Cairn and Lawrence in the first half here. And nonsense clearance from Vita that time. Smart defending there from Lawrence, knew exactly what Bilbia actually was trying to do. Just one step ahead of the Ingolstadt front man. quite literally. Up with the good hold-up play, draws the foul as well. Lovely little drop of the shoulder there from Remy Vita. Still going. Elva able to get back and win the ball back as well. As that battle over on the far side continues between those two. That's definitely the area of the pitch where the most interesting football and situations have evolved and unfolded. Elva. Well. Not sure whether or not he wanted to do that. It did look intentional. And also didn't look too far away from finding the target. There's a young man playing with a lot of confidence here this evening. Tell you what, if I'm Thomas Ora, I'd be telling my players, get the ball to Elva, if and when possible. That is when his side look the most dangerous. At least that's been the case so far. Nice layoff by Bilbia. That just about keeps the ball in play. Schreck on the move again. Doesn't like to carry the ball forward when the space is available. Oh, Antonic with a vital interception there, because Dayaku had made a great run back into the middle. A good effort there to make the block and stop the clearance, keeping Ingolstadt pegged back in their own half here. Elva, a world-class bit of trickery there to help the ball past 2 or 3 Bayern defenders. Now Kuchke thought about pulling the trigger, definitely was winding up to do so. Deciding against it in the end though. Bilbia. Had options in the middle, I think he was going for goal. Decision in the end, Seiser able to get the block in. Bayern do have a corner to defend here. A little fortunate running away past Kuhn, but then really needs to be cutting that back towards the penalty spot. They had 2 or 3 teammates waiting. Gauss with the cross, Scott with the header away. To Gauss again, just couldn't really wrap his boot around it.
Und wieder weg, geh wieder auf die 8. So ist okay. Leon, aber Leon ist dabei. Gut, okay, okay.
Well, with 45 minutes just about up, will there still be a chance for either team to try and just get their noses in front here before the break? Could argue Ingolstadt have looked slightly more decent on the ball. Their play has been a little more convincing, a little more confident, and a little more attacking, if you like. But the best chance to go ahead has fallen to Bayern 2 here. Scott, the substitute, with a golden opportunity. Sending it over the crossbar though. Zerul tries to get past Lawrence, but runs into trouble shortly thereafter. And Vita gets his pocket picked. And Lawrence heading the ball out of play, not taking any chances. There will be a corner for Ingolstadt here. Stendera with the delivery, it's not a bad one, and Elva at that near post again. Had he found the target, that would have almost been a carbon copy of his first. Bayern really struggling to keep him under wraps at the moment. Santos urging his teammates to get the ball forward, out on that left flank, which is exactly what they're trying to do here. Ayaku just runs into a crowd of white shirts. Really needs to be getting rid of the ball a lot earlier than that. Röhl just offside. Lawrence probably had him covered though. And at the last chance, if you can call it that, of the first 45. So Timo Kern just 3 minutes in, giving Bayern 2 the lead before Elva equalising on the half-hour mark. All square at half-time here between Bayern Munich 2 and Ingolstadt. The second half just around the corner. Well, no half-time changes, it would seem, for either manager here. Probably understandably, with both sides putting in decent performances. Slightly different performances, but equally as good. Bayern off to a great start and have done just about enough to keep Ingolstadt quiet, who have had the majority of possession and have looked a little bit better in their build-up play and going forward, but have struggled in the final third. Their sort of brightest player, if you like, has been their goal scorer Elva. Every time he does get on the ball, they do look more like scoring than with any other players so far. He has given young Remy Vita a busy evening over on that side. Looking forward to see how that battle between those two unfolds here in the second half, which is now underway here in the Grünwalder Stadium. Ingolstadt now playing from left to right here in the second 45. Breakaway opportunity scored in the opening minutes of the first half. Can they do the same here in the second? Here's Dayaku, tries to create the space for the shots, does eventually find an opening, but took just a little too long to pull the trigger there. Dayaku with 3 goals already this season, the winger. Is a good return so far, and then I'm sure he'll love to add to, and why not here this evening? He hasn't had too many opportunities to do so far. Here's Kuhn looking for Arp, but playing it in just slightly behind the Bayern number 9. Here is Elva. He has looked very lively so far, and has good defended from young Remy Vita. Can't hold on to the ball though. Röhl with the early cross in, looking for Kutschke. Feltan with the header away, Lawrence with the clearance, deflection off Elva. So Bayern throw taken quickly by Dayaku. Arp will have to go backwards. Down by Kuchka there for Bilbia. Was well off the mark. They could have done a lot more with that. Ingolstadt. Same goals for Bayern Munich with that counter. Another player down for them though here, and it's Kuhn. And they've been rather unfortunate in picking up injuries here this evening, the home side. Almost been dropping like flies, the youngsters. He seems to be just clutching in behind the right knee there. Coming together with Schröck. Kuhn still down here. As the medical team come on to have a look. Certainly seems to be a problem with the knee. Well, he's going to hobble off at the moment. I'll have to wait and see if he's able to continue. Sure, Holger Seitz doesn't necessarily want another forced substitution this early into the second half anyway. Does have a few options on the bench. But Kuhn very much an important player in that front line for Bayern too. If he can continue, I'm sure Holger Seitz will make sure he does. Anyway, ball rolling again. Elva. The first touch did come off. Ingolstadt player, at least the Bayern side, and players certainly thought it did. I did as well, so too did Holger Seitz. He just needs to keep his emotions under control a little here in the second half, having been given a warning for not doing it in the first 45. The corner to Ingolstadt. They had plenty of them in the first half. Once again, it's Lawrence who's in the right place at the right time. His positional play has been absolutely spot on so far. Stendera to take the corner from this near side. A scramble at the moment. Arp then with the block. I think that was actually a shot on goal there by Stendera. There's a number of the Ingolstadt substitutes warming up on the sideline. Again in towards that near post. Arp goes to ground, clutching his left leg there after the challenge from Röhl, who will see yellow for that tackle. And Feldhahn not happy. The captain needs to just calm himself down a little. He's now picked up a yellow card as well for his complaints. Did come flying in, and it's one of those scissor tackles that can be oh so dangerous. Did play the ball, but it was a very dangerous tackle to make. And Arp, thankfully, back on his feet and able to continue, himself trying to calm managers and players down, which is good to see mature from him. Feldhahn, of course, as captain, is always going to be protective of his players. One of those that certainly wears his heart on his sleeve. Which is why the captain's armband is close by as well. Here is Elva. Wide to Röhl. Tries to cut it back across the face of goal, looking for Kutschke, but it's too close to Hoffmann. Easy catch for the Bayern keeper. A number of other games underway this evening as well. At 7 o'clock Central European time kickoffs. Dynamo Dresden currently 2-0 up against Unterhaching. Kaiserslautern and Lübeck at 0-0. Early into the second half, Magdeburg 1-0 up against Hansa Rostock as they continue to look like title favourites, or at least contenders. And Victoria Köln 1904 and FSV Zwickau goalless there as well. As things stand, it's Dynamo Dresden who will go ahead of Ingolstadt into second place, 2 points behind Saarbrücken. And Scott able to turn. That wide to Dayaku. Kuhn seems to be moving all right now. Dayaku. Well, he just didn't have the space to put the cross in. Tried to create it. And then the cross again, just a little too close to Buntic. Here is Feldhahn to Lawrence. Just toe poking the ball away as it was on its way to Dayaku. Vita to Arp. Dayaku does really well to create a bit of space. Again, can't find the right delivery though. And now Dayaku's gone down, clutching his right knee. Hold the play by Vita Arp there. Over doing equally well. Trying to move the ball in the opposite direction, put out of play by Lawrence. Probably been a Bayern standout player. Yet to really make a mistake or make a wrong decision, the young central defender. It is turning into a class act. With Bayern 2. He's been handed an opportunity this season with the likes of Richards being called into the first team. And well, he is taking that opportunity on. And then some. Kutschke. Flag stays down. It looked like he just wandered into an offside position there, but he must have been played on. Heinlort. Can't get the cross in before it ran out of play. Zeiser back to Feldhahn. Zeiser now again on the ball. Hoffmann eventually does send it upfield. Kuhn trying to help it on, but a little too heavy-footed to find up with that ball. Diaku, decent little spell this for Bayern. And pretty even Stevens since the restart. That's Lawrence there with his first real mistake, has given the ball away cheaply. Now Röhl tries to cut it back, and Lawrence makes amends after that little lapse in concentration. Back to doing what he does best, getting in the way of Ingolstadt crosses, especially this evening. It looks like it's time for Holger Seitz to make his first substitution, but the first one he hasn't been forced into making anyway. And it looks like Niklas Kuhn is, well, maybe it is a forced one, because Kuhn is hobbling off and unable to continue. So it will be Rochelt coming on to replace him. Looks like it's more of a problem just above the knee in the thigh area, which would suggest it's more of a muscle thing. Hopefully something he can recover from quickly. Sendera. Kuchka certainly feels that should be a corner, and it is eventually given. Jamie Lawrence and the Bayern defense will be tested again here. Sendera and Ingolstadt haven't been able to do much with the amount of corners they've had so far. That one very nearly coming off. And Schreck with the header at the far post. The whistle going for an infringement inside the penalty area, I believe. Elva. Vita. Ball over the top there. Scott hoping it would fall kindly for him. Off by Kotzke there. And with the throw, back to Lawrence. Jamie Lawrence, still just 18 years old, remember. Which would suggest the sky is the limit for the young central defender. He has turned a lot of heads this season, for all the right reasons, of course. Held out wide to Diaku. Again, Bayern just unable to hold on to it. There's Gauss, looking to feed it back to Bilbia. Well, both teams struggling to be effective in any way in the final third. pace of the game has just dropped a little as well in the second half. A little bit more even now at this stage in terms of possession, as Ingolstadt looked like they were going to carry on with that same flow and momentum here in the second half, enjoying a lot of the ball. It hasn't really unfolded that way now. With Bayern playing their way back into it, it's become a little bit more scrappy at times as well. And I think the question now is which team can just settle things down a little bit, find a little bit of confidence in that final third, and snatch themselves a winner. You do feel like there is a winner in this. Your guess is as good as mine as to which team's going to snatch it. First touch there, layoff. Now a chance, perhaps. And what a save that is from Hoffmann. To be fair, Bilbia really needs to be placing that either side of the keeper to make his life a little bit more difficult. He gave him every chance of saving it. Yes, he still had to make that save and make sure he didn't parry it straight back into the path of an Ingolstadt player. And he ends up having just come on very nearly, providing the pass that would have put his side ahead. As said, you do feel there is a winner in this, but you don't really get the feeling that there's too many goals in this game apart from one winner. It's supposed to show just how important that chance was, and that could turn out to be. Well, here's another look. Bilbia doing everything right, just doing his best to try and stay on side, yet still ahead of Stanisic in order to get the shot off. Jenza's ball was picture perfect. The finish, sadly, unable to match the delivery. And Hoffmann, well, doing everything that was asked for him there. Made sure he stayed on his feet, made himself big. I was thankful to see the ball come straight down the middle rather than to his right or left. Another cross in towards the near post. Bayern struggling to get that ball clear initially. They do eventually come away with it. Gauss with the tackle on up. And up with the final touch as well. Means Ingolstadt have the throw. Oh, well-timed tackle that from Gauss, and nothing wrong with that one, that's for sure. And Vatt plucks the ball out of the air with real skill there. And Lortz gets the ball back from Elder, but can't really stay on his feet and get a decent cross in. They will have the throw. Deep in the Bayern half to keep the pressure on. Should be an easy catch for Hoffmann, and is. Good touch there by Arp, sees the ball just get away from the striker. Be fair to the number 9, he hasn't had too much to work with this evening. He's had to drop deep to come and get involved time and time again. Most of the play going out wide rather than through the middle.
Zusammen, bleib zusammen.
Just over 20 minutes still to go here in the Grünwalder Stadium. Up, able to turn. First time he's really able to run at some defenders here. He's in need of some support. Had Scott in the middle. Once he took that touch to go further out wide, he was never going to play it back into his teammates, so decides to go for goal, trying to catch Buntic out at his near post. It's a good run from the striker. And, well, with Antonic sticking close to Arp, it almost disguised the shot from his keeper. Too far away from finding the target. And it's the side netting instead, though. Rochelt with the corner. Back out to Dantas. Rochelt again. Left-footed cross this time. Can't get enough lift on it. Hold-up play by Ayenza. And Bilbia sends on the chase. It's definitely an improvement already on the previous 3-0 loss to Lübeck for Holger Seitz's team. An early goal, having conceded, they haven't lost control of the game. And, well and truly still in this game, all 3 points already up for grabs here tonight. Question is whether it will be the more unexperienced youngsters who can use that energy to try and give it one final push here in these later stages, or will it be high-flying Ingolstadt? Currently towards the top of the table after a good start to their season. It's perhaps one of those tests which we'll see just how high they can finish. These are the sort of games that you want to be snatching late winners in. It all adds up at the end of a long campaign. Nights like these could be the difference between finishing first, second or third at the end of it all. And Antonic, you can see, trying to fire up his teammates. He knows how important these final 20 minutes, well, it could be, and, well, quite clearly are for both sides. And for Bayern, they really need 3 points to try and shoot themselves up the league table. Point for them will see them remain just below mid-table in 14th, which after last season's outcome, lifting the title, is a big disappointment. However, you do have to take into consideration it's a team that's constantly changing, with players being called up into the Bayern Munich first team time and time again. So it's an always evolving team. A team that almost every week comes out with a new 11 players, so not exactly an easy job for both the manager, Holger Seitz, and especially the players. Here's Bilbia. Picked off by Stanisic. Here's Scott. Looked good since coming on in the first half. He's had a bit of a quiet second so far, and that pass well off the mark. Well, to be fair, in this second half, both teams have been giving the ball away far too often. Heinlot does well against Vita. And it's a good ball in as well. And it's the substitute, Jensa, who has given Ingolstadt the lead and possibly all 3 points as well. Fantastic delivery from Heinlot. got a real whip on it, and it was always travelling away from Hoffmann, who had a decision to make. It was planted at his near post, and once the ball fizzed past him, well, there was only ever one outcome, and he ends up from a close range, comes flying in, and it's an acrobatic and also a courageous header. And Dennis Eckerdayenza puts Ingolstadt 2-1 up, and in a fantastic position now. First goal of the season for the substitute, and it seems to be an inspired substitution by manager Thomas Ora. Oh, lovely flick on. Up in an offside position. Can't have been much in that. It's times like these that will really test this young side. Just over a quarter of an hour to go, having been in the lead early in the game. They've now allowed Ingolstadt to get themselves back into it, and then in front as well. It means that Bayern are going to have to change the way they approach the final stages of this encounter. They're going to have to go for it now. I'll tell you what, Ingolstadt not far away from putting the game out of reach there with another good delivery into the box from Heinl from this near side. What do Bayern have left in the tank? Tentas with a wonderful ball out wide to Dayaku. Tries to take on three Ingolstadt players. Wrong decision in the end. And now young Remy Vita will go into the book as well for that foul on Kotska. Kotska making a bit of a meal of that one as well. Exactly, Vita was coming in as he just took a little look over his left shoulder. He's happy to ride the challenge and stay down as well. Yep. Brought down there by Stanisic, but the decision goes against him. Feltan over the top. I was looking for Dayaku, found it, but it was the back of his head. We didn't know too much about in the end. It's Feltan again, and we'll launch it forward again. Dayaku, this time able to bring the ball down with his head, but was in an offside position. Jamie Lawrence being seen to again. It seems that that nose is still causing him a bit of trouble. Tell you what, that could be broken. Doesn't mean he won't be able to continue, but it's certainly painful and causing him a little bit of distress. Considering he's been playing with a possible broken nose this entire time for the majority of this game. Just makes his performance that even, well, a little bit more impressive if it wasn't already. Elva. Ayenza. Cheeky little back heel, Gauss. Feltan able to get it away. Now, breakaway opportunity for Bayern as Scott powers forward with the ball at his feet. Up, forced out wide. And then Gauss does enough to not only nick the ball away, and has the composure to keep the ball alive and help it forward as well. So Lawrence will return. Looks like he's able to continue. Bayern will make a change though, and it's going to be Dantas coming off. And Jastrzemski coming on. Dayaku. Lawrence to Vita. Vita with his 6th game now for Bayern 2 since arriving from the French 2nd division. A lovely ball into the middle to Scott, who he wasn't aware, but he had plenty of space in behind him, decided to carry the ball back into a more crowded area. Bayern still on the ball though. When he cross in, it's in behind up. Jastrzemski doing his best to try and get there and react to the situation, just couldn't react quick enough. Sizer to Arp. Feltan thinks about a cross, instead plays it short to Sizer. Lay off by Dayaku, well off the mark. And back by Vita though. And Sizer again. Placed past that from Lawrence. And Ingolstadt punish them for it. Not a bad ball by Elver there. Jensa just offside, but I tell you what, that was close. Dayaku again. Certainly has seen more of the ball here in the second half, Dayaku, but struggled to do too much with it, really. That will be a corner. Corner taken short here by Ingolstadt. Since going 2-1 up, have remained as the team who look more likely to score another. Kuczka just mistiming the jump there, was leaning back slightly, just taking off a little too early as well, which meant it was going to be difficult for him to keep the header down. Something he really doesn't need to do. He's got that height advantage over the majority of defenders already. Up to Jastrzębski. And Sizer. Dayaku. Nice turn. Close control from the Bayern number 7. Ships it out wide to Remy Vita. Into Arp. Was looking for some sort of an opening for a shot or a pass. Couldn't find either, but Bayern able to keep the pressure on here. Looking for a late equalizer. Sizer. Heavy first touch. He's back to Lawrence. Poor ball from him. Now Elva gets the counter going. Ayenza on the move again. Ayenza cuts back inside, back out wide. Feldhahn there with him. And Lawrence with the header away yet again. Touch by Vita to take the ball past Elva. Elva with heavy legs trying to get back. Not scared, does really well against Arp. He's getting a little bit more scrappy here in these final moments, but not too bad for the neutrals, that's for sure. Certainly plenty of tension here. By no means finished just yet. Free kick awarded to the visitors just inside the Bayern half. Will help them just eat up a few more seconds of the clock as they prepare to make another substitution, probably with the same thing in mind, really. Looks like it's going to be Keller coming on. As Feldhahn happily leaves that on to his goalkeeper. Scott. Rochelt leaves it to Niklas Kuhn. That is just too sloppy. It was actually Rochelt the entire time. Kuhn, of course, no longer on the pitch, replaced by Rochelt. Just can't afford to give the ball away that cheaply. And on the attack. Does well to win the ball back there, though. Now Scott needs to bring the ball forward with a little bit of urgency here. Not like that. There'll be another substitution here now. And will be Keller coming on to replace Kuczka up front. Although Keller could drop a little deeper as Ingolstadt now try and lock up all 3 points in these final few minutes. Definitely more of a central midfielder, so protecting those 3 points, the name of the game for Thomas Oral and company now. You can feel that shift in momentum. Just 5-10 minutes ago, it was Ingolstadt who were on the front foot, pushing for possibly another goal to really put it out of reach for Bayern, but as you get closer to that 90-minute mark, you just take your foot off the pedal, which is what Ingolstadt have done here, and now almost inviting Bayern to try and find a way through a very crowded Ingolstadt half of the pitch. Kuchka coming off and Keller on will make life even more difficult. He really now intends it to park the bus, it would seem. As things stand, Ingolstadt back up into second again. 1 point behind Saarbrücken. And we'll have a corner here though, as Zeiser makes his way over to the flag to take it. Ingolstadt desperately trying to hold on here. Enough lift on that to get past the first defender. Let's come back to Vita. And then sloppily puts the ball out of play. Just over a minute of the 90 still to go. Probably a good 3 minutes to be added onto that as well. So just under 5 for Bayern to try and find an equalizer. Dayaku. Nice 1-2 with Vita. Christopher Scott quickly surrounded by 3 Ingolstadt players there. Enzo playing the ball in behind. And Watts. Watts will shield that one out over the line. Takes the throw quickly. Bayern running out of time here. Dayaku. Vita. Antonic with the clearance. Stanisic's ball nowhere near a teammate in the end. As Thomas Ora decides to make another time-consuming substitution. Wilbia will take his time coming off as well, I'm sure. Beister waiting to come on here for these closing stages. Stremski apparently just leading with the elbow again to the side of Elva's face there, catching the right jaw, spotted by the referee, and it's a free kick that really Ingolstadt will be more than happy to take their time with as well. No indication of how many minutes have been added on here. 1.5 minutes over 90 already. Up, uses the ball inside his own penalty area. What a tackle that was from Zeiser, I think. Feet up, very nearly costing his side another goal there. Here's Beister on the half volley. Why not? A few of his teammates reminded him heading out towards the corner flag there, but he's going to struggle to make a striker not take the shot on from that position. Kaus over the top. Rochelt didn't know too much about it, but able to intercept using his back. He's on the ball again. We'll launch it forward into the Ingolstadt penalty area. Hoping for a little bit of good fortune. Elva past Vita with ease. Plays the ball into the middle. Here's Ayenza. Ayenza can't get the ball out from underneath his feet. Eventually plays it to Beister. 3-1. Well, it looked like Ayenza had completely lost control of the situation there. But what a cheeky little backheel into the path of Beister, who comes off the bench in stoppage time to score in stoppage time. And really wrap things up for Ingolstadt here in Munich. And there goes the final whistle as well. So it's Ingolstadt who will take all 3 points back home with them and head back into second in the table, thanks to a double from Dennis Eckert Ayenza, or at least 1 goal and an assist. Beister finishing things off and putting the cherry on top. That's all from us. Until next time, take care.